What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Maths Guy. Today we're going to be looking at 5 of the most common style questions that will always come up in Year 6 Maths Sats. So, let's waste no time, let's go. Okay, so your first job, here are the 5 questions. We have question 1, what is 7.5 divided by 100? We have question 2, put a ring around the decimal which is equal to 1/5. Question 3, one book costs £1.95. How much does 6 books cost? Question 4, what is the difference between 289 and 352? Question 5, a yogurt costs 45p. How many yogurts can be bought for £5? So your first job is to press pause on this video now, spend a little bit of time and try and work out the answers to these 5 questions. When you've done that, come back to the video and we're going to solve them one by one and you can see how you got on. So press pause now before we move to question 1. Okay, so question 1, here we go. What is 7.5 divided by 100? Now, what we're always looking to be able to do is try and find a method to be able to help us answer these kind of questions. So when we're looking at a question like this, it's pretty complicated because it's written in words. Our first job is let's rewrite it as a number sentence. So what is 7.5? So 7.5 divided by 100. Now, what we might be able to also know now is that because we're dividing by 100, we can actually use our place value chart to help us. So let's design our place value chart. And all that means is we're going to have columns of different values. And I'm going to put my ones, my tens, my decimal point line, tenths, 100ths, 1000ths, and let's do 10,000ths for the fun of it. And now all I need to do is put my 7.5 inside this place value chart wherever it would go. Well, 7.5 is made up of 7 ones, a decimal point, and 5 tenths. And if I'm dividing by 100, what I need to know is the principles of this place value chart. And that is that each column is worth 10 times more or 10 times less than the column next to it. So in other words, anytime I go from one of the columns into another column, I am multiplying by 10. Or if I want to come the other way, I'm dividing by 10 because that would be 10 times smaller. Now, because we're dividing by 100, we have to understand that 100 is made up of 10 times 10. Or in other words, 2 jumps down my place value chart. Because if we have a look at the 7 inside my ones column at the moment, 1 jump would be divided by 10, 2 jumps is divided by 100. So my 7 actually has to make 2 jumps down the place value chart. So let's move it 1, 2. My 7 can now go here. Now I look at my 5, and again, it has to do 2 jumps. So it's going 1, 2, comes next to my 7, just there. But another thing I need to understand about my place value chart is I cannot just ignore the decimal place. So I'm going to put that back here. And I now notice that I have this spare gap just there next to the decimal and before my 7 where I'm missing a value. I can't just say 0.075. So I have to put in a placeholder, this 0 that covers that space. And if I wanted to, I could also put a placeholder in front of the decimal as well. So my answer could either be 0.075 or just 0.075. Both correct answers. But we have been given this answer box, so let's put our answer in there, 0.075. Give myself a tick. Hopefully you got that answer as well. Question 2. Put a ring around the decimal which is equal to 1/5. So I've been given 5 decimal numbers here, 0.5, 0.15, 0.2, 0.1 and 0.4. So the first thing I like to do when I'm working with decimals or any other forms of a fraction, I like to draw my line, my number line. And let's have 0 at this end and 1 at that end. In the middle, on my decimals, I would have 0.5. But it's asking me which is equal to 1/5. 1/5 is a fraction. So let's use the other side of my number line to do some fractions. And in the middle, I would have 1/2. Over on this side, I would have 1/1. And on this side, still 0. So now what I need to do is start to fill a few more of these in because I need to find 1/5. So let's break this number line into 10 sections. 10 is a nice easy number to work with. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 to the halfway mark, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 all the way to the 1. Now I can continue doing my decimals at the top. This would be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. I've already got 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and then my 1. But we're not there yet because I'm still looking for 1/5. So I now need to do the same thing on my fraction side. So this would be 1/10, this would be 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, or another word, 1/2, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 10/10, or in other words, 1. But again, still can't find 1/5. So now I need to try and look at these fractions down on the bottom line, the purple line, and see which one is equal to 1/5. Can we find an equivalent fraction? Well, 1/5, if I'm converting it to tenths, means that I've had to get my 5 and times it by 2, which means I need to do the same to my numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/5 is equivalent to 2/10. So let's find that 2/10. There it is. And let's look at what decimal is equivalent to it, and it's 0.2. So put a ring around the decimal, which is equal to 1/5, and the answer is 0.2. Pretty long question. Hopefully you got that right as well. Question 3. One book costs £1.95. How much do 6 books cost? Well, we're going to do a little bit of column addition here because we know that one book costs £1.95. So if we have 6 of them, I would have something that looks like this. There we go, put my equal sign and my addition sign, and I've got to understand that this is my ones column, these are my decimals, my tenths and my hundredths. So let's begin in my smallest value, which is the hundredths, and let's add up these 5s. I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I can't just put my 30 in there, that would be wrong, because 30 is made up of 3 in the tenths column and the 0 stays in the hundredths column. Now when I'm adding my tenths column, I must include that 3. So I have 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 57. And again, carry the 5 into the next column and put my 7 in place. Don't forget my decimal. And now adding the ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the 5 gives me 11. I've got nowhere else to put the 1, so I add it into the answer row, and there we go, my answer, £11.70. Put it into the box, and I'm ready to move on. But before I move on, let's try and work it out in a different way, because I could use some multiplication here, because I had £1.95 multiplied by 6. So when we're multiplying a decimal, what I like to do is just ignore the decimal point for now. So put my 195 and then multiplied by 6, put my answer row, and then I'm just going to simply do it like every other multiplication. 6 times 5 is 30, 6 times 9 is 54, plus my 3, 57, and 6 times 1 is 6, plus my 5 is 11. But we can see we have 1,170 compared to my 11.70 here, and that's because when I had my £1.95 and I ignored the decimal, there were actually 2 digits after the decimal which I ignored. So now what I need to do is come 2 digits back from the end of the answer and put the decimal back in place to keep 2 digits after the decimal. So I have the same answer, £11.70. Simple. Question 4. What is the difference between 289 and 352? So what this is asking me is I've got 289 on one end of a number line and at the end 352. What's the difference between them? Means what's the gap? What range is there between these two numbers? And to solve that, all I'm going to do is 352 subtract my 289, and that will leave me with the gap between them. So let's do that together. And I always start from my smallest value, which in this case is my ones. 2 subtract 9, I cannot do. Now, a lot of people, what they would do at this point is just put 7, because they've done 9 subtract 2. That would be wrong. If If I have 2 oranges, I cannot take 9 away, so I have to then borrow from next door, put that 5 down to a 4, and take a whole 10 across. Now I have 12 oranges, taking away 9 leaves me with 3. In the tens column, 4 subtract 8, I have the same problem. Borrow from next door, 14 subtract 8 leaves me with 6, and then 2 subtract 2 leaves me with 0. So my answer is 63. Don't forget to put it in the answer box. And last but not least, this is another super common style question. A yogurt costs 45 pence. How many yogurts can be bought for £5? Now this is a very tricky one because people make a very basic mistake. So one yogurt costs 45 pence. So let's have one yogurt here, and that equaled 45 pence. So if we have 2 yogurts, we've just got to add another 45 to that, and that would be 90 pence. If we have 3 yogurts, we would have 90 plus another 45, which is 135 pence. And we're just going to keep going all the way until we get to £5, which in other words is 500 pence. So let's do that. 4 would equal 180 pence. 5 would equal 225 pence. And I'm going to use that knowledge here that 5 yogurts is 225, because that must mean that 10 yogurts must equal double that, which is 450. Now, when I try to get my 11th yogurt, can I do it? Yes, because that would be 495. But if I try and get a 12th yogurt, I then go over my £5 budget into £5.40. So I cannot get a 12th yogurt. So how many yogurts can I buy for £5? The answer is 11. This is the point where a lot of people will make mistakes. A lot of people in this box would write 495p because they think the question is asking how much does it cost to buy those 11 yogurts? Well, that's not the question. The question says how many yogurts can be bought for £5, and the answer is 11. Be super careful with the wording. They love to try and catch you out. And there you go, that's 5 of the most common style maths questions you're going to get in the Year 6 SATs this year. Practice these over and over until you get them right, and that's going to be another 5 marks for you to go towards your test. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If it was, head on over to themathshelter.com where you're going to find loads more videos to help you with everything you need to know about maths. Good luck in your upcoming SATs, but for now, peace out.